Hello everyone, welcome back. You're watching the Data Labs. My name is Dilip. This is part 4 of fully automated data entry form in Excel, and in this tutorial we are going to learn how to make a dynamic serial number in existing form and how to validate the data entries made by user before submitting the data from form to database, and we will also validate the duplicate entries. If user will try to submit the duplicate entries, it means the same employee details again, then it will prompt a message that okay, you have already entered this particular employee details, and we will update the reset function. Reset code basically is a procedure which we have already created, so we will add some certain line of codes to assign the default color to each and every controls, and we will add another validation code to validate the employee form details before printing. Okay, and the last and the most important feature, that is printing. So we will add a sub procedure so that with the help of that procedure we will be able to print the selected employee details uh, through printer, or if a printer will be not available on your system, then you can export that employee details into PDF file. So this is all about adding several features in our existing data entry form. So without wasting our time, let's move to Excel and let's add all those required features in existing form. So here you can see that this is the fully automated data entry form, and let's click on launch form. So in our part 1 of this tutorial, we learned how to create this user form and all those controls so that user can make entries, and how to transfer the data from this form to this particular database, a worksheet, and also how to reset the form, and again how to connect the database worksheet with the list box, the table which we are using here, right? And in a second part we learned how to edit and delete the existing record. Okay, and in third part we learned how to add a feature like search by, so that we can filter the database the database details, and we can only show the matching details in this particular list box, right? So this is all about part 1, part 2, and part 3. If you have not watched from part 1 to part 3, I would recommend you to watch the tutorial from beginning till part 3, and then please come to this tutorial. Then you will be able to relate all those existing logics and code. I have already provided the link of each and every tutorial in the description box. Let's close this form and make the required changes in this fully automated data entry form. So just close this. So let's add a new worksheet to print the selected employee details. So just click on new worksheet and rename this sheet 1 to print, and let's move to the last. Okay, now go to view and grid lines. Okay, so untick the grid lines. So let's quickly create the table. Okay, so we have created the tables and we will utilize this particular range to print the selected employee details. So this is done. So let's move to the developer tab and click on Visual Basic, and now you can see that we are in Visual Basic application window. Okay, so let's some modification. First of all, we need to add one button here that will be for print. So let's move this save and reset left side and copy the reset button and just press Ctrl V, and let's move align this here. Let's make the adjustment. Let's select the last command button over here and just expand this and give the name as cmd print. Okay, and the accelerator key should be P and the caption should be print. And let's select the back color. So back color maybe this one, green. So we have done with the modification. We need only one button, that is for print. So first of all, let's make the modification in existing code. So let's start with making a dynamic serial number. So let's move to module 1 and go to submit as submit procedure, and here you can see that we are considering IRO as a static. Okay, so we need to make it dynamic so that whenever user will delete any records, all the serial number will be automatically adjusted based on the row number. So let's replace the IRO -1 with new code. Okay, so here we are going to utilize the row function, and that is -1. That's it. Let me put comment over here, dynamic serial number. Okay, press Ctrl S. Okay, and now let's add a function to validate the entries. So as of now we have not added any function to validate the entries made by user. So let's move below. So first of all, let's start a function and then validate entries as boolean, and just create some room over here. Okay, so now we have sufficient space. Now let's start the coding. So validate entries is equal to true, and then let's declare a variable I, employee ID as variant. So we are declaring this variable to store employee ID that will be entered by user, and we will use this variable to check the duplicity in our database worksheet, right? Let's move. Let's declare a variable name sh as worksheet, and let's set this worksheet set sh is equal to this book dot sheets, and then print. Okay, and let's assign the employee ID details to this particular variable, that is I employee ID. Just copy this, paste over here, and equal to frm form dot txt id dot value. Okay, now let's with frm form and with. Okay, let's create some room, and we will write all those codes within with and end with block. So first of all, let's write the code to assign the default color to each and every controls which are available on user form. So default color and dot txt id dot back color is equal to vv white dot txt name dot back color is equal to vv white dot txt city dot back color is equal to vv white dot txt country dot back color is equal to vv white dot cmb department dot back color is equal to vv white. So this is all about assigning the default color to each and every controls. Okay, let's start validating each and every user inputs. So first of all, we will validate the employee ID. So if stream.txt id dot value is equal to blank, then message box please enter employee ID. Okay, vv okay only plus vv information and then employee ID. Okay, and now here we need to assign the validate entries to false. So let's falc false, and then txt id dot back color is equal to vv red, and then dot txt id dot set focus, and then exit function, because we need to come out from this function, right? And then and if. So this is all about validating the employee id. So if user will not enter any information in txt employee txt id, then it will prompt a message that please enter employee details. Let's start validating the duplicate entry. So validating entries. Okay, let's write if not sh dot range, and here we are utilizing b column because we are using b column to store employee id details. So the sh dot range bv dot find, and we need to find the I employee id. So basically the variable which we have already declared here, this one, I employee id. So what employee id, and we need to match the whole content. So look at excel whole, okay, is nothing than and if. Let's copy the entire code, this one, and just paste over here and make the changes in a message. So this would be duplicate employee id found. So this is done for duplicate entries. Let's write the code to validate employee name basically. So let's copy the first one, this one, and just paste over here and change the txt id to txt name. Please enter the employee name, and here that would be employee name, and just copy the txt name and replace the txt id with txt name. Okay, now let's validate the gender. So let's create validating gender. Let's create some room. Okay, if dot opt female dot value is equal to false, and dot opt male dot value is equal to false, then and if. Okay, let's copy this line of codes, paste over here, and make the changes in message. So please select gender, and the caption should be gender validate, and let's remove the color backcolor code because we do not need to assign the color to option button, and let's again remove the state focus. So that will be very simple. So this is all about the validating gender code. Let's write the code to validate department. So let's copy the code, this one, and paste over here and make changes. Replace the txt to cmb department dot cmb department. Let's copy this code and the cmb department and paste, again replace this txt name. Now make the modification. Please select department name from drop down, and that would be department. Okay, so that's done. Let's copy the code of name and replace the same for city. So that would be replace this dot txt city dot value and please enter city name, and that would be again city. Copy the txt city and replace the txt name with txt city. It's done for city. Let's copy this code and replicate the same for country. So that would be txt country, and just copy the txt country and replace the txt city with txt country. Okay, let's make some modification in message box. So that would be country name, and here country name. Okay, so this is all about validating each and every controls which are available on user form. Let's debug this code to find out any compiler error. So you can see that there is no compiler error. Let's copy the entire code, this particular function, and replicate this the same function for validating print details. Okay, so now we can see that I have replicated the same code, and we need to make some modification in existing code. Okay, so first of all, let's change the name function validate. We validate print details. Okay, now just copy this function, the validate print details names, and replace all those validate entries wherever that is available. So here you can see that again this one, validate entries, that should be validate print details, again validate print details, validate print details. So now we have replaced all those validate entries with validate print details. Let's check it again. Okay, so basically we are going to utilize this function to validate the details which are available on form. If form has no value, then there is no benefit of printing all those details, right? And in that case we will utilize validate print details. So if any of the field will be blank, then it will prompt a error message that okay, this particular field is blank, please enter the details and then click on print. So in that case here we need each and every validation except the duplicate entry, because we are not going to transfer the data from form to database. We are just utilizing this particular function to validate the entry so that we can get the printout of this particular employee details. So let's just delete this and go to debug, compile. Now you can see that there is no error in this particular validate print details function. Now let's copy this default color code and paste it to reset code, because we have not used color coding in reset. So let's move to the reset here. So here you can see that this is a sub reset, and we just need to paste the code, the color default color code over here. Let's debug. Okay, so everything is working, there is no error basically. Now let's write a sub procedure to print the selected employee details. So let's go to the below of coding, the bottom side, and add a new procedure that would be sub print underscore form. Okay, and here we will write the code to print out, get the printout of selected employee details. Okay, so let's start with coding. So application dot screen updating is equal to false, application dot display alerts is equal to false. Okay, and let's declare one worksheet variable, dim sh as worksheet. Let's set the sh worksheet variable. So set sh is equal to this dot sheets, and the sheet name is print. Okay, let's write the code. So we will use the frm form. So let's start with frm form and end with. Okay, so let's move to the excel excel here, and here you can see that this is the print worksheet which we are going to utilize. So we need to update employee id, employee name, gender, department, city and country code from frm form. Okay, So here consider this is starting with E5. Let's move to Visual Basic and let's start writing code. So ss dot range, and that starting cell is E5. Okay, dot value is equal to dot txt id dot value. Okay, let's copy the code and replicate it for employee id, employee name. So this should be 7, and here txt name. Let's copy this code and just replicate this for gender. So E7 would be E9, and let's so iif dot opt female dot value is equal to true, then the value would be female, otherwise it would be male. Okay, so this is for gender. Let's copy this code, this line of code, and replicate this for department. So cmb department, change the reference from 7 to 11, and again just copy this code and replicate this for city. So 11 will become 13, and here txt city. Copy this code, this line of code, and replicate this for country. So 13 would become 15, and replace the txt city with txt country. So this is all about assigning the form values to respective field. So here this is for employee id, name, gender, department, city, and country. Now let's write the code to print the form or export to PDF. So code to print the form or export to PDF. Okay, so first of all let's set the print area. So sh dot page setup dot print area, and the print area would be, let's move to the Excel sheet, and the range would be starting from B2 to I17. Okay, so let's come to here, and so the range would be B2 to I17. So this is the print area. So let's write the code to get the printout. So sh dot print out, and copies would be only one copy. So if you want to get multiple copy, then you just need to change the number. Okay, comma, areas is equal to false. So this code will help us in getting the printout. So suppose your system has no printer installed, like my system. So I have no printer, so in that case it will prompt a error, and this is the reason I am just going to write an additional line of code so that we can get the details, employee details, in a PDF format. So let me put a comment over here. And okay, if your system has a printer, then you just uncomment this particular line of code and comment this, the next line of code that is for exporting the details into PDF file. Okay, so let's write the code to export the details. So sh dot export as fixed format, and the type would be Excel, type PDF, comma, and we need to give the file name. So file, comma, and here we need to give the file name. So we need to save this PDF file at the same location where this Excel file has been saved. So application dot path ampersand application dot path separator, again ampersand. So here we need to give the file name. So let's consider the employee name as a file name. So frm form dot name dot value. Okay, let's make it a little bit shorter. Yeah, ampersand, and the extension would be .pdf. Okay, so this is all about exporting the details to PDF format. So let's prompt a message stating that employee details has been printed. So msc box employee details have been printed, vv okay, and this is vv information comma print. Now let's application dot screen updating, that would be true. Application dot display alerts, again that would be true, and press Ctrl S to save all those changes, whatever the changes we made in this particular code. Okay, let's move to debug and compile. Now you can see that there is an error. So basically we are considering frm form dot name, however the correct name is frm txt name. Okay, go to debug, compile. Now you can see that there is no compiler error. Now let's call the functions and sub procedure on click event of save and print. So let's move to frm form, and first of all we need to make modification on this the click event of save. That just double click on that, and here you can see that we have not used the validation code. So just we need to write the code over here. If validate entries is equal to true, then we need to run this procedure, that is sub and reset and if. Okay, now just copy the entire code which are available on this cmd save underscore click. Just copy this, go to the frm form, let's double click on print and just create some room over here and just paste all those codes. So let's make some modifications. So here the message box would be, do you want to print the employee details? Okay, and this is confirmation, that would be print, and it's the function would be this one, validate print details. And let's remove this reset function, and here we need to print underscore form. That's it. So now we have successfully assigned all those codes to on click event of cmd print as well as click event of cmd save. Let's go to debug, compile. Now you can see that there is no error. Press Ctrl S, move to Excel window and go to home. Let's click on form. So first of all let's submit a record. So I'm 256, this is the employee ID, and maybe Dilip, here male, and the department that would be quality, and city that would be New Delhi, country India. And let's click on save, click on yes. Now you can see that this particular record has been transferred to database. Let's move to database, just close this form and database, and here you can see that this is totally dynamic. So first of all let's make the changes in this one, 1 2, that will be 3 and that will be 4, because earlier we utilized a static serial number, and that's the reason. Okay, let's click on move, click on launch form. Now let's get the print details. So just select the Dilip and click on edit and click on OK and just click on print. And do you want to print the employee details? Click on yes. So now you can see that it's a publish, there is an error. So I think we have made some mistake over here. Okay, so ideally we should use this workbook.path because we are not going to utilize the application path. So let's replace this application.path with this workbook.path, right? And click on run. So now you can see that employee details have been printed. Okay, let's reset this form. Yes, let's select another name like maybe Dinesh. Click on edit. Let's take a printout. Click on yes. Okay, now let's move to the folder, and here you can see that there are two separate files. One is for Dilip and one is for Dinesh. Let's double click on any of the file, and this is all about the employee details. Okay, let's move to Excel. So friends, it was all about how to make a serial number dynamic, how to add the code to validate the entries before submitting the data, as well as how to validate the details before getting the printout. And again, uh, we added the code to get the printouts, and if printer is missing on your system, then you can utilize the export to PDF feature, right? So hope this particular tutorial would be useful for you. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe and comment. Have a great day. Bye bye.